Yo, we gonna talk about it, bro. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk. We gonna talk. The shenanigans stops today. The shenanigans stops today because um hey, Black Lives Matter. This is why I didn't rock with Black Lives Matter. Listen, rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace, George Floyd. Rest in peace to all the African Americans that we lost in the years. Black Lives Matter used donations to buy a $6 million house in Southern California, and they doing toast at the table. Who allowed this? Okay, we gotta open up the can, because people. All right. I'm on the Black Lives Matters website. All right, so it says Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the Trayvon Martin murder. They have it where it says take action, join the movement to fight for freedom, liberation, and justice by signing for updates, supporting our work, checking out our resources, following us on social media, or wearing our dope official gear. By combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for black imagination and innovation, and centering black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in our lives. This is disgusting. It says here, Black Lives Matter secretly bought a $6 million house. The allies and the critics alike have questioned where the organization's money has gone. Like, this is what, because this is a microwave generation. People don't do research, and they play into the hands of these people. They're always using the black people to make money off of. Why? Because we are the important figures of where money goes. Meaning, if majority of black people don't say that this is fire, this is hot, this is this, and this is that, there's nothing going on. Alright, this was made by Sean Campbell. So on a sunny day late last spring, 3 leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Melina Abdullah, sat around a table on the patio of an expensive house in Southern California. The women were recording a YouTube video to mark the first anniversary of George Floyd's murder, and they discussed their racial justice work and difficulties they have faced over the years. What racial justice work did y'all face? And y'all turned George Floyd's murder into an anniversary? That's not cool. So this is what's said. So Color said, for me, the hardest moments have been the right-wing media machine just leveraging literally all its weight against me, against our movement, against the Black Lives Matter organization. That's what she said. First of all, there's 3 women. And the funny thing is, none of these women are straight. They're not even. They don't align with. They don't align with what black women actually stand for, even though they are black women. I got to let y'all understand that what this world is built on is divide and conquer. You know, some people they don't want to be politically correct, but I'm gonna be politically correct with you. Alright? Democrats, Republicans. So, Democrats and Republicans. The funny thing is, they're all the same. It's all one party. They're all ran by the same person. They're just trying to divide people to be Democrats, Republicans, communists. It's like so many different things that are at once. Then somebody said, I'm some weeks out now. So Color said, I'm some weeks out now from a lot of the noise, so I have more perspective, right? While I was in it, I was in survival mode. She was referring to an April 2021 article in the New York Post that revealed her purchase of 4 homes for nearly $3 million. What are you doing with 4 homes? We got the homeless out here. You got people starving in America. You out here buying 4 homes for nearly $3 million? I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. The disclosure had contributed to the idea that there is a disturbing gap between the fortunes of the movement's most visible figures and on-the-ground activists across the country, and Colors resigned as executive director of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation on May 27th, within a few days of the patio chat. First of all, what we need to understand is majority of everything that happened during the protests with Black Lives Matter, like, majority of that was all acted out. Those were all scripted out. George Soros, he's part of this. Abdullah said, I think they've attempted to cancel us, but they have not been successful in canceling us. Why? Like, Black Lives Matter needs to be canceled. Because I don't support this. I never supported Black Lives Matter, and I'm black. This is buffoonery at its best. Whoever thinks this is okay, you had Caucasians be your ally, be allies, and they don't look at Black Lives Matters different. Who buys a home for $6 million? You ain't happy with you ain't happy with like 400,000-500,000? 6 million? When we all pass away, somebody else is gonna get this. Somebody else is gonna get this. Abdullah said at another point in the conversation, they attempted to say, and I'm just going to say it, she bought some dang houses. We going to cancel her. Garza cuts in with a comment similarly to address to critics. Y'all don't know ish about what it takes to live in a box here. What do you mean in a box? You mean in California? Where the LGBTQIA runs music through the directors. You think I don't know how certain actors get certain roles? They gotta do certain things. They gotta take certain steps. When you get to those parties, with the celebrities, and then they're like having separate parties in the house. You talking about that? In a box? It's weird. None of the women acknowledge the house behind them is far from a box. How you in a box? Your house has more than 6,500 square feet. More than a half dozen bedrooms and bathrooms, several fireplaces, a soundstage, a pool, and a bungalow. And parking for more than 20 cars? According to the real estate listings, the California property was purchased for nearly $6 million in cash in October 2020 with money that has been donated to Black Lives Matter, BLMGNF. I don't know the other letters, but I know the BLM part. So the transaction has not been previously reported, and Black Lives Matter's leadership has hoped to keep the house's existence a secret. It's not a secret no more. This house, you can't say it's a secret when it's out. It's out. Alright? So, documents, emails. You not know how the government works? Make sure they document everybody. That's what the census is for. To document everybody in the world. Everybody don't know what you're doing if the government is involved. Stupid. This is the dumbest thing. This is what happens when people get money and they just go crazy spending money. They spending $6 million, but they gonna walk past and give the homeless bread. What? Everybody could be living good, but nah, everybody want to be greedy. So, documents, emails, and other communications I've seen about the luxury properties purchase and day-to-day operations suggest that it has been handled in ways that blur or cross boundaries between the charity and private companies owned by some of its leaders. I wonder who those leaders are. Because if you would realize that in the government, oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's crazy. I wish I could dive more into that, but this just took me for a loss for words. A loss for words with this. All right. So somebody said there was always two movements, but people are sheep and always get led to the slaughterhouse. On March 30th, I asked an organization question about the house, which is known internally as campus. Afterwards, leaders circulated an internal strategy memo with possible responses ranging from "Can we kill the story?" to "Our angles need to be to deflate ownership of the property." You can't deflate it. You bought it in cash. You have the title. You're paying an annual fee for this house. The memo includes bullet points explaining that campus is part of cultural arm of the organization, potentially as an influencer house, where abolish-based content is produced by artists and creatives. It don't make sense. Where abolish-based content. You see how nice that house looks? Nobody, man, they not gonna let them do that. Stop. Another bullet point is headed accounting 990 modifications and reads in part. Need to first make sure it's legally okay to use as we plan to use it. The memo only describes the property as a safe house for leaders whose safety has been threatened. It seems like it's not a safe house for the homeless. It seems like it's a safe house for all the rich people. All the rich people, you know, because it's something's going down in California. And something's going down big. The memo also describes the property as a safe house for leaders whose safety has been threatened. Threatened? What? I need to know these leaders. Who's the leaders? I need to know who these leaders are. The two notions that the house is simultaneously a confidential refuge and a place for broadcasting to the widest possible audience. Some are somewhat in tension. The memo notes holes in these insecurity story. In an email statement on April 1st, Shalom Yah Bowers, she was a board member on the Black Lives Matter, said that the organization bought campus with the intentions for it to serve as housing and studio space for recipients of the Black Joy Creators Fellowship. This ain't making sense. At the first part, they said it was potentially for influence. It was a influencer house where abolish-based content is produced by artists and creatives. But where here, later on down the line, it says for Black Joy Creator Fellowships. So the fellowship, which provides recording resources and dedicated space for Black creators to launch content online and in real life, focus on abolish, healing justice, urban agriculture, and food justice, pop culture, activism, and politics was announced the following morning. All these Black creatives, they could do this at their own house. I'm pretty sure they all got houses or places to live. There's a bigger picture that's not being told. There's a bigger picture not being told, and it's not good. Bowers also said in the statement that Black Lives Matter had always planned to disclose the house in legal filings this May. That it does not serve as anyone's personal residence. The purchasing property via private LLCs is customary in real estate as a way of protecting assets from litigation and liability. The statement did not address why, if the house was primarily intended to be a creative space, relatively little content has been produced there over the course of the 17 months. Y'all said this house is for producing content, but y'all only did relatively little content in the past over a year and 5 months, almost a year and a half. Even if everything about the house is above board, the general air of secrecy is out of step with the transparency that is expected of charitable or tax-exempt organizations. The size of acquisition could expose the group to criticism that a very legitimate critique, says Jacob Harold, a former CEO of GuideStar and the co-founder of Candid, an information service that reports on nonprofits. It's not a critique that says what you're doing is illegal or even unethical. It might just be unstrategic. Why aren't you spending it on policy or, other strategies that an organization might take to address the core issues around Black Lives Matter? Why wasn't this money put back into Black Lives Matter to help out the brand more and branch out more? But nah, we gotta get a house. Nah, we gotta go buy 4 different houses for $3 million. We gotta get that house for $6 million. What? Even in appearance of impropriety or mismanagement threatens to deter donors and harm the larger movement for racial equity. See, this is how I know that they're making money off of racism. They have turned racism into, they have monetized racism. On this score, some of the harshest criticism of BLM has come from within. Internal emails dating to 2016 shows activists voicing concern about how donations were being spent, how the organization was being run, and frustrations only continued to mount. In the fall of 2020, 10 city chapters issued a public statement rebuking the global network for its opacity, and the families of some black victims of police violence have complained that they have seen little of the funds that have flowed to the movement's most visible facet. This is disgusting, to say the least. How do people... Now, we talk about George Floyd, the one they had where they have an anniversary for this man's death. Who has an anniversary for that? These people are demoralized. George Floyd's death triggered an outpouring of contributions to Black Lives Matter, and in October 2020, the organization received an infusion of $66.5 million from its physical sponsor, an intermediary commonly used by fledgling nonprofits to process donations. 2 weeks later, a man named Dean Pascal purchased the 7-bedroom house that would become known as Campus. Wait, is that the same? Is that the same house? That same 7-bedroom house, the $6 million house? According to California business registration documents, Pascal, who is a financial manager for Janaya and Patrice Consulting, an LLC ran by Coolers and her spouse, Janaya Khan. Pascal is also the chief financial officer for Trap Hills, a nonprofit led by Damon Turner, the father of Color's only child. Within a week, Pascal transferred ownership of the house to an LLC established in Delaware by the law firm Perkins Coie. The maneuver ensured that the ultimate identity of the property's new owner was not disclosed to the public. Why aren't y'all trying to disclose to the public who really owns the crib? That lets you know something's going on, something fishy's going on. Somebody's pulling the strings. That's why in California, for you to make it in California, you have to do certain things. You got to do certain steps. You got to go through certain doors. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let me see some. Let me see. I gotta see some. We about to talk about it, bro. Let me go ahead and put this. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Go ahead and pull this up. All right. Let's see. Let's see.
That has recently come to light. In the video, the women are sitting outside the undisclosed $6 million mansion. The 6,500 square foot estate has over 6 bedrooms and bathrooms, multiple fireplaces, a pool, and parking lot for more than 20 cars. So the financial manager, Diane Pascal, who worked for an LLC owned by Patrice, who is one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter, and then they transferred it to another LLC in Delaware so that no one would know who owned this mansion. This is sickening. In a shocking new article, New York Magazine is...
Yep, that person said this is sickening. Crazy. This is crazy. Going through a lot. Going through a lot. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. All right, people. Let's get our ears. Let's get our ears ready. Let's see what he got to say. All right, let's go.
Oh man, Black Lives Matter is accused of something that can only be described as shady. So we're going to talk about what's going on with Black Lives Matter and why Black Lives Matter is accused of buying a $6 million house using donations. So we're going to talk about this. So get comfortable, buck up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drvoicetv.com right now. TV.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say hello to everybody. What's going on as you come in? Shout out your city, shout out the name of your black-owned business. Shout out, put your hashtag B1 in the chat. B1 means we are black first. That means we put our community at the top of the priority list. If you are B1, let us know in the chat that you are B1. Also, give me the name of your city or the name of your business. I like to know all of that and know where you're coming in from. Hello, Terrell and Brandon and Nathaniel and Joseph and Terrell's in Rochester. I bet y'all getting snow already. Joy out of Atlanta. I'm going down to Atlanta pretty soon. I support the Black House and Hereafter Farms, so I'm going down there to check that out. Also, Nathaniel from Texas, and it looks like I see Jermaine from Philadelphia. All right, well, shout out to Philly and Birmingham and KC Mo and all the other places that are coming in from. All right, so here's as you hit the thumbs up button, let me just give you the short version of the story, and then I'm gonna give you the Dr. Boyce breakdown of what I'm seeing here. So Black Lives Matter is being accused of yet another interesting thing that involves money. I'm not here to confirm or deny the allegations or whatever, but they are accused of using donation money to buy this $6 million house. And this $6 million house, they can't quite figure out what they were buying it for. They claim to be buying the house to use it as a space for creators, content creators, or something. They have these houses where people go and they make YouTube videos or something. And there's surprisingly very little content, at least according to the sources I've seen. There's surprisingly very little content that's come out of this house. I don't think they could track any content that was made in the house. But they bought this $6 million house using the donations. Now that's pretty much the short end of the story. So if your attention span is less than 60 seconds, then you know what? That's then you can go ahead and go. So all the people with short attention spans, you're now dismissed. You know, kind of the general gist of the story. Now let me dig deeper into this and kind of break down what's going on. I'm gonna do this by asking you a series of questions in terms of what I'm seeing here. All right, let me ask y'all a question. Yes or no? How many of you identify with Black Lives Matter? How many of you give me a yes or no if you feel like, okay, Black Lives Matter, that's my organization. I think that their leadership really represents the black community.
No,
Black
it
Lives
doesn't.
Matter is really getting it done for me. They're really, making a difference for the people I care about. How many of you give me a yes or no? How many of you identify with Black Lives Matter? Okay, I'm looking for some yeses. Okay, there we go. I see a couple of yeses, Latanya. Okay, and it's okay to say yes. It's okay to say no. Unlike other places on the internet, we believe in freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of expression. My goal is not to tell you what to think. My goal is to just give you another perspective that you might want to consider, or a perspective to add to your own. Okay, good. All right, but that's the first question. Second question I'm going to ask you is this. Okay, so Black Lives Matter raised somewhere around what 90, $100 million, something like that, some big amount of money, right? Black Lives Matter was a very prominent brand during the 2020 election. It was the name mentioned most during the riots and everything else that was going on all throughout the country, and so a lot of money was donated when white people were looking to pay their reparations. They gave money to Black Lives Matter. When they were looking to make amends with the black community, a lot of them made donations to Black Lives Matter. When they were looking to improve your life or to let you know that they're sorry for being white and doing what white people do sometimes. Not all white people are bad, we know this, but y'all got some bad apples in there. Y'all know what it is. Y'all have a system, right? They said, let's write a check to Black Lives Matter so our corporation can feel better about ourselves. We can wake up feeling like we really did something for black people. So I want to ask you this question: how many of you got any money from Black Lives Matter? How many of you did anybody in this room give me a yes or no? Did any of you get a check from Black Lives Matter? Did any of you get any, support for your business? Did Black Lives Matter come and
I didn't get no support from my business from Black Lives Matter. None.
loan you
None.
money to get through the pandemic? Did Black Lives Matter? Did they send you a PPP loan? What did Black Lives? How many of y'all, give me a yes or no? How many of you got money from Black Lives Matter during the pandemic or beyond at any point? Okay, I'm looking. I see it. Okay, Mildred, I'm sorry you didn't get your check. Kelvin, damn man, Kelvin, your money was in the mail, bro. I promise you. Right? Okay. All right. So I'm kidding. I don't have no affiliation with Black Lives Matter. Okay. So how many of you even know somebody who got any money from Black Lives Matter? How many of you can name one single black person? I'm making a point here. I promise you. Sometimes it takes me a second to get to the point, but when I make the point, it sticks. How many of you even know somebody who got any money from Black Lives Matter, any financial support whatsoever? Right. Okay. So where am I going with this? I'm going with this in this direction. Look, I'm not here to say the leadership of Black Lives Matter were a pack of criminals. I have thoughts in terms of where they were coming from politically and ideologically. It's not a coincidence that they were all trained Marxists, because my theory is always that typically black rage, black legitimate outrage for the treatment that you've experienced, the black trauma is a vehicle being used by some members of the radical left and sometimes people on the right to pursue an agenda that is their own, where black people are a tool, a commodity to be bought and
That's very informative, but I need. But this is just crazy. Crazy. Hmm. That's just the question I need to know. Why did they purchase this house? Hmm. It's a shame. Why do these Black Lives Matter people have, these leaders have $1.4 million houses? Let me see what this is about. This might be the last one. Then I gotta switch over to battle rap. Alright, let's let this man talk. Let's see what he says.
I told you they were frauds. This video is brought to you by The Oxitative Story. I'm in Sacramento, California. Obviously, I'm not in my studio, but we still got to get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been compelled to make this video about one of the founders or co-founders of Black Lives Matter bought a $1.5 million house in Topanga Canyon. Now, I normally wouldn't care what people do with their money. I'm a capitalist. I think people should make as much money as they can possibly make, doing good to the people, giving money back to the church. Those things are invaluable in my personal opinion. But make as much money as you want. You can live anywhere you want. I live in a nice house. If you work hard, you bust your tail, you do things the right way, you should be able to live wherever you want to live. However, if you are making money off of your profession, which is fundraising for black causes, and then you don't give any money to black folks, I mean, no real money. You're not giving any significant money to black people during the pandemic. You don't care nothing about black lives unless they were killed by white police officers. They don't even care about black lives. They were killed by black police officers. It only has to be a white police officer and a black man. No matter what the black man did, they fundraise, and they do nothing with the money. They don't give the money to the black family. They don't do nothing in the inner cities. I mean, I'm nothing significant. Now, there may be branches of Black Lives Matter chapters that are doing a little bit of work here and there. But when you raise hundreds of millions of dollars and you cannot account for where it goes, yet your co-founder goes and buys a $1.4 million house. Now, a $1.4 million house ain't the problem. That ain't the problem. That's not the real problem. Where she bought the $1.4 million, $1.5 million house is the issue. How are you super duper ultra pro black? You raise hundreds of millions of dollars on the backs of black deaths, and you go live in a majority white community.
Wow. So a Black Lives Matter co-founder buys a $1.4 million house. That's not the main issue. The issue is that she's pro-black, but she lives in a white neighborhood. It's starting to make sense. Even black people are making money off of black people. This is not.
How does this make any sense? This is what happens to all of these people who claim to be pro-black, who claim to be pro-black activists, black first. They go and take their ashy elbows and go live in an all-white community. Why, Mr. Tatum? Why would the founder of a Black Lives Matter take her money and resources and go to an all-white community where she's contributing to property tax in a white community, where she's paying money to the schools in a white community, where she's building the economy in a primarily white community? Why would they do that? Well, because they're not interested in fixing the inner cities that they're too afraid to live in. They know that there's too much violence going on. They know that their kids can't go to a good school. They know that their lives will be in danger 40% of the time if they actually went to these neighborhoods that they claim they support, where Philando Castile and them getting shot at. But they'll never live there. They'll never support any of that stuff. It's all a farce. It's all made up. They live in make-believe. And I'm honest about what I do. I want to live. I like living around white people. The most safe places that I've ever been is all white people. And it's nothing against black people in general, because there's a few black people that probably live on my street somewhere. But when you talk about all black saturated communities, there's not many of those communities that I've been in that are safe, that aren't riddled with gang violence and poverty and all of those different things. If you think I'm lying, point me out a celebrity that makes millions of dollars, that live in the inner cities, that live in black neighborhoods. You know, LeBron James, does he live in Akron, Ohio, in the hood? You know, where he went to school at or whatever it can be? No, he does not. He got $1 million mansions somewhere. You can get a house built you can buy 4 houses in a row, get them knocked down, build one big house right in the middle of the hood. Why won't they do that? Because the property value is low. Because the crime rate is crazy. Your kids you'll be driving your kids an hour away to go to a decent school. That's why they don't do these things. But they don't want to tell you that. They want you to believe pro-black, so you can donate all your money, your last dime, to black causes, because you standing up for the black man. And in all actuality, they don't care about this stuff, man. It's all a farce. That lady couldn't wait to buy her a house in a white neighborhood. She couldn't wait. And I personally don't know her, but you look at her actions, that's exactly what she did. And if you think these people have integrity, you think these people really care about black lives, you think these people really going to spend your money in the right area? No, they're not. It's all a money grab, baby. It's all a money grab. What's the next grift? They play on the emotions of black people. And black people, unfortunately, are too emotional to see through some of this stuff. Nobody in the world should be supporting Black Lives Matter at this point, after they've been proven to raise hundreds of millions of dollars on George Floyd's life and then get him a dime. Michael Brown's family.
Hold on. What did you say?
doing Black Lives Matter because they raised probably millions of dollars on their son, and they didn't give their family a dime. But I guarantee you, if you look up where their money going, it's going to these white Democrat candidates, president, senators, majority white. That's where your Black Lives Matter money going to, or going to their pockets so they can buy a $1.4 million house in Topanga, California. And my wife used to live in I forget the name. I forget the name of that place, but it's right by Topanga. I used to ride my bike up Topanga Canyon. I used to ride my bike up to Topanga Canyon all the way down to the beach, or to the ocean, right there. Topanga Canyon to the ocean. Canoga, I want to say Canoga Park, but I could be totally wrong. But my wife used to live right over in that area. If you go to Topanga Canyon, number white folks. You go to Calabasas, number white folks. The gangsters they rapping on them songs, telling you to kill and steal and rob each other. They live in Calabasas.
Facts.
Your boy Kevin Gates, I was on a first class flight with him. He lived in Calabasas. Don't let these people lie to you, man. I want you to be informed. I want you to know where your money's being spent. Go and support people who are actually doing things in the inner cities. Go and support people who are actually doing things in the hood. One kid that you can support, and I supported him. We donated $12,000 to his cause. Is the young man King Randall. King Randall look like he's doing good work in the hood. Got a school, got everything. He got something to show for it. These other people are completely lying to you. Anyway, I could talk about this for 3 or 4 more hours, but I'm here in Sacramento, and I got a speaking engagement to go to, and I need to get some sleep. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Make sure
You heard it there first. You heard it there first. It's a money grab. Black Lives Matter is a money grab. People are wondering where their money going to. All the money people donated, it went to these houses. Y'all have been fooled. All the people who are pro-black, they wanted to live in what? White neighborhoods. White neighborhoods. But what they don't know is the white people that see them moving in, they don't even want them there. But hey, I digress. I might be back on my battle rap tip, but this is just something I had to just talk about. $6 million?
I'd like to subscribe to the channel. Visit the Officer Tatum.
Be right back. Yo, what's good, people? That's why, listen, these people have to do research with these organizations. Just because it says Black Lives Matter don't mean that they for black people. They want the money. The donations, they not going to no actual causes. Nah. They going to their pockets. Facts. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to my channel. Let's get it running up. My Instagram, my Twitter. And hey, subscribe to the channel. Comment, like, subscribe. Peace.